Breaking news, familia. Bayer Leverkusen have agreed on Arsenal's asking price for Granit Xhaka, £21.5 million. And for once, let's start on the positive. This is good news. I thought this would happen a lot earlier. Granit Xhaka saying his goodbyes a lot earlier on after the season was ended. I thought that Granit Xhaka would be leaving a lot sooner. But I'm happy that Arsenal, for once, are not allowing a player to go on a free and ripping up the contract, or just accepting whatever the buying club wants. We were seeing 15, 16 million pounds for the player, and now we're actually accepting that we are going to demand more for Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka that had a decent season last season, still not world class, a player that I'm more than happy to let go as long as we go out there and actually get better. We've had the excuse of it's a light squad, it's a thin squad, all that pucaria that we've been hearing all the time, all that merda. We'll go out there and get me a proper signing. I don't mind selling Granit Xhaka for £21.5 million. It's more than 15, it's more than 16, which is what we were hearing in January, or what we were hearing at the end of the season when we was going to let Granit Xhaka go and sell him, and he wanted to go. I'm definitely happy that the club is moving on a player that doesn't want to be here, because there is no point in continuing with a player that doesn't want to be here. We look at Pep Guardiola all the time. As soon as a player doesn't want to be there, he's more than happy to let them go. Zinchenko, Jesus, if you don't want to be there, he'll let you go. He wants players that are dedicated to the project or process or whatever pucaria you want to hear, or whatever pucaria you want to call it. I don't really care. But at the same time, whatever the reason is that Granit Xhaka wants to leave, we've heard about his family, he should be able to go. Now, the only problem I have with this, I'm happy with how much we're getting for Granit Xhaka. I'm happy that the club don't want to hold down a player that only has 12 months left on his contract and make him play the rest of the season of next season when he doesn't want to be here and he's not dedicated. We need players that are dedicated to what we're doing right now. What I do want to see, though, is using this money to go out there and get LAVIA or get another midfielder that can play his position. For me, I just feel like with the players that we have left, if we let Granit Xhaka go, it's not good enough. We have Jorginho, which we saw, he come in for the experience and to get us over the line, all that pucaria that they want to come out with. It didn't get us over the line. We didn't win the league. We need players that are ready to win us the league. It's a Jorginho on the wrong side of his career, and for me, it ain't good enough. I don't want a Jorginho. Then you look at Lokonga, another master stroke by Eddie that feel that puta once again with these bargain bucket flipping signings. Lokonga's not good enough, so he definitely can't fill in for Granit Xhaka with Granit Xhaka leaving. So Jorginho's not good enough. Lokonga's not good enough. Then you're looking at who else? We've got Havertz. I think Havertz will play in that position, but I don't think Havertz is good enough. Yeah, he's either going to play rotation for Odegaard or maybe he can play a little bit deeper. I don't think he's got the physicality. I don't think his vision is good enough. I don't think he's technically good enough. I don't think he's fast enough. I actually don't think he's as good as Granit Xhaka. And that says a lot because this filo da puta Granit Xhaka for me ain't good enough. And I'm more than happy to see the back of him. And I'm more than happy to see that we're getting the most that we can get for this player. But we've been saying that we have a thin squad and the majority of this thin squad is in the midfield. So if we don't go out there and get a LAVIA and get other players that can fill in Granit Xhaka, do as good of a job, if not better, ideally better, because I want to win the league, I want to win the Champions League, this then don't make sense to me. We need to use this money, get this £21 million from Bayer Leverkusen and add it to whatever we've offered for LAVIA and our inquiries in LAVIA and try outbid Liverpool as Liverpool are now looking at LAVIA. We need to go in there with some serious money, add that to the money for LAVIA, go out there and get LAVIA over the line. Personally, I would get this money and add it to whatever we were going to add to the Caicedo deal. I don't think we should be walking away. If we get Caicedo, I'll be more than happy him playing in that Granit Xhaka role. For me, Rice doesn't have the attributes to play in that 8 role for me. I just don't think he's good enough for playing in the 6. I don't think he's good enough. I think Declan Rice is more rotation for Partey. I think we should keep Partey and add to this midfield around Partey. I'm not comfortable going in next season with Havertz in the middle, Odegaard and Rice. For me, that's a weakened midfield because Odegaard isn't good enough. We need an upgrade on Odegaard in the first place. He should be on the bench being part of a thin squad. Then Havertz, for me, isn't going to cut it, isn't good enough. I'm not convinced. And until I see different, I ain't going to change my mind. That's how I feel about it. And then you're looking at Rice. Yes, he's an upgrade on Thomas Partey, but that's about it. Everywhere else, it's a downgrade or near enough the same. There's no evolution in this midfield. if we know that we had a thin squad and we didn't have the players on the bench, then we need to go out there and address that. Yes, there's players that we need to get rid of. For me personally, there was already players that we needed to get rid of before Granit Xhaka. Lokonga, we need to get rid of. ESR, to me, we need to get rid of. Yeah, I don't mind. Nah, to be honest, no. ESR is never available. For me, I'm kind of done with that. Lokonga, ESR, Fabio Vieira, you know, he's another one. He plays more in the 10 role, rotating with Odegaard. Is he going to be able to fill in for Granit Xhaka? I don't think so. And even in the 10 role, he flatters to deceive. That Filo da Puta can't even put one pass. He can't string 2 passes together. I'm done with that guy. So for me, I just feel like if we get rid of certain players and we don't address the midfield, once again, we're going to be short. Once again, we won't have the players available. For me, I want to go out there and get Caicedo. He's better for me than Lavia. I would be happy with Lavia alongside Caicedo, but I still would prefer Caicedo to be the replacement for Granit Xhaka. We need to strengthen that midfield. We're now taking away one of our starting midfielders from last season. So it's only like for like. We need another midfielder, another 2 or 3. I think we need another 2 or 3 midfielders because we need to put the starting 11 midfield on the bench. If we're going to have a strong bench and not have a light squad, that's what we need to do. We've already had these players that can do a job like Lokonga, like Fabio Vieira, like ESR, and it's not been good enough. Not good enough for us to get over the line and actually win major honours. Now, like I said, I'm happy with the fact that we're not getting lowballed and we're not ripping up contracts. That is a difference. But the real difference to me will be how do we replace Granit Xhaka and how do we address the lack of options in this midfield? Because Mikel Arteta doesn't trust Lokonga. He doesn't trust Fabio Vieira. Yeah, and he doesn't trust ESR, which is why these guys don't get in the squad week in, week out. So we need to go and address that, especially when we're taking away one of our main midfielders away. I think Granit Xhaka, at what, 30, 31 years old, I think this is his ceiling. His ceiling's not good enough to win us the league. So this Filo da Puta can go. Get your P45, get your things. Like I said, don't even pass through the breakfast bar. Don't even go to the water fountain and get yourself a little top up. Just leave. Yeah, I'm done with this guy anyway because I don't think he's been good enough. And the return on the investment, 1 good season in 7, hasn't been good enough in my opinion. So for me, I don't mind him going. Is Lavia the replacement? Is Caicedo the replacement? Who's going to be our new starting number 10? A lot of people saying it's Kai Havertz. For me, that's a weekend start. That's a weekend. I don't think that Kai Havertz is better than Odegaard. And I don't think that Kai Havertz is better than Granit Xhaka. So if Kai Havertz enters this midfield, our midfield is already worse. Yeah, and then you take away Granit Xhaka, you already got less options from already thin squad and a squad that is inexperienced. For me, as much as Granit Xhaka has faults, one thing I can't fault Granit Xhaka is he does care and he does show he has got a little bit of bite about him, which when we look at the other midfield, we don't really have many that have a bit of bite about them. You can argue Partey alongside that. Who else do we have? So listen, it is what it is. I'm happy to be moving forward from Granit Xhaka. Overall, it's been a failure in the investment. We should have got Kante. It is what it is. That's in the past. But for me, we just need to go out there and really address the lack of options in this midfield. I'm not happy with Havertz. I know people look at that as an option. For me, nah, it ain't good enough. That Filo da Puta ain't gonna do nenhuma merda. Só vamos fuder a cabeça. Vai ser a mesma porcaria todos os dias. Eu tô cansado. I'm already saying I don't. This guy's gonna be trash. Yeah. The Granit Xhaka, listen, it is what it is. These are the rumors that are out there. Fabrizio Romano's come out and said that, you know, Bayer Leverkusen are ready to meet Arsenal's asking price. And, you know, slowly, maybe this club is actually starting to move like a big club, going out there, putting the big money down for Declan Rice, making sure we get the top money for Granit Xhaka. We should be doing this. We should have been doing this from time ago. What annoys me is there's a lot more players that needed to be moved on before Granit Xhaka, and we're moving on Granit Xhaka. Listen, the player doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Mikel Arteta stood by him. He doesn't want to stand by Mikel Arteta. He wants to go. He wants to leave. Apparently, reports that his family are unhappy. Whatever. Go. Do whatever you want. Your last payday, whatever. Apparently, he's going to be on less money than he is at Arsenal. He's more than happy because he wants the lifestyle. It is what it is. It is what it is for me. But what are we doing to rectify that? Because at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of rotation in a lot of positions. For Zinchenko, we got Tierney. You know, for Jesus, we've got Eddie Nketiah, which isn't good enough. Yes, we got good rotation for Martinelli and Trossard. That is the level of rotation that we need all around the pitch. And for me, we're getting rid of one of our main midfielders who is coming in. Who is coming in? Yes, there's Timber that could be, well, it looks like he's coming in. It's all but done. Timber coming in. He can play centre back and he can play in the midfield. Is he going to be good enough in the midfield? I don't know. I think his preferred position is as a centre back. So would he be able to do it in the midfield? I'm not too sure. But listen, it is what it is. All I'm saying is go out there and get it done. At the same time that we can use Timber as rotation for the midfield, then who, if we need rotation as a centre-back, then we got a bit of a conundrum then. Because if Saliba and Gabriel are out, Holding ain't good enough and Kiwior ain't good enough. We only got Timber. But if Timber's rotating because Saliba's out or Gabriel's out, then we have one less option to rotate in the midfield. This is why with all these players that can be versatile, all this Pukari, at the end of the day, they can only play one position at one time. We need to go out there and actually feel and get in bodies that are actually quality and world class, because Timber can only play one position at a time. The centre back position, we don't have a lot of rotation in terms of outside our main two centre backs. The rest is levels dropped. So Timber's more going to be rotated, in my opinion, in the centre back position. So we need another midfielder. We need a couple of midfielders. Yeah, I still feel like we need a Granit Xhaka replacement and another player, in my opinion, because Declan Rice is going to rotate with Partey. We should be keeping Partey. Havertz, for me, I'm not convinced with him being rotation for Odegaard. I still would like to go and get another midfielder in that position. So for me, there's more business to be done. But listen, let me know what you lot think. At the end of the day, make sure you put your comments down below on the video, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Like and subscribe, hit the bell notification. Don't be a viado, don't be a filo da puta. And Granit Xhaka leaving. What would you say? £21.5 million. Is that a bargain? Or are we getting bumped and we could do better and get more money for him? Without further ado, I'm out. Safe.